Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Vivek and I am gonna share about my interview experience of TCS Prime that happened on 13th of April at TCS MERN office. So first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Vivek. I am in my final year at GL Bajaj, and along with that I am working in Airtel Payments Bank as a tech ops engineer. And the you can say TCS process started when I filled the form of TCS NQT, and I received the mail that I have the TCS NQT test on around 14th of April. That was on 14th April, and the exam contained more of, like you can say, aptitude questions. Two coding questions were there, and some sort of different questions. In that, I was able to solve around one full coding question and five out of seven cases in the second coding question. So then I received the mail from the TCS that you were shortlisted for the TCS Prime interview, and they give me a date that your interview will be on 13th of April. So on 13th of April, I visited TCS Yamuna office. My interview was at 11:30 a.m. and I was gone there. First, they verified the documents, like checked my 10th, 12th, B.Tech mark sheets, and then verify my photo, and then give a right symbol that you can go for the interview. The interview of from two different places where the verification is there. We have to go in bunch to another place at TCS another building. Then there are interview panels. Around 4 interview panels were there, but my interview was scheduled at 1:30, like somewhere in 1:30. And also before that, the person who gave the interview, I talked to them that what they are asking. So the one thing is common is all of the interview panels are more or less interested in database. So they are asking about SQL, YSQL, DB schema of your projects, from projects also. So I was preparing with that mindset, and I filled C and C++ as my tech stack in the examination form. So when around 3:30 I got my interview call from the interviewer, and I go for the interview. First they asked me to introduce myself. I introduce them, and then share my experiences and also the project involving and how many projects I have done and on my tech stack. That's done. Now the next question, the follow-up question, there were three people in the interview room, and one is busy with their work, another one person, I think there one HR, and one other tech stack person. So they asked me that your tech stack is C++. Yeah, it is my tech stack. So they asked question from that, and C++ there are some good question in the pointers, I can say class. So first of all they asked me about what is polymorphism, basic OOPS concept. What is polymorphism, how many types are there, and I have give the example, tell them what is polymorphism, compile time, run time, and their types also, and along with an example I have given them. Okay, then they asked me about a constructor, what are virtual destructors, and why it is used. So these are the questions you can find on they are the good questions on C++. So they have prepared a sheet, and I heard them, the one tech stack person was saying to the ma'am that these are the good questions, or the list of good questions of C and C++ which he has made from with the help of AI, so ask from it. And they asked me, and frankly speaking that these questions are familiar with them, because I have given the interview of Autodex also. I have prepared for the Autodex, I cleared the way, and along with that I have cleared Commvault way, and in LLD round I got eliminated in the last, but no problem. And along with that I have prepared for Falcon Autodex. I reached the HR round, but my Airtel interview was cleared. So the college said no, you are not allowed in Falcon, you are now in the Airtels. So that was the time, and I have also received from one LOI from Capgemini, and two more companies were there, but overall I have cleared around 6 product based OA rounds and further rounds. So I have already prepared with these type of questions, C++, memory related questions, C questions. So they asked me from this point of view. So they asked me what are V tables and V pointers, and constructor, virtual destructors, why destructors are used, and you can say what are derived classes, what are base classes, and and there are a few questions on malloc, calloc, new, delete, and they asked me that what is the 3-5 rule in C++. Frankly speaking, that I don't know about this rule. Also, I missed that studying before also, so I said, sir, no, I don't know about this. There were some basic questions also, that what are heaps, what are stack, what are the types of heap, min heap, max heap, and these were the questions in C and C++ questions. So basically you can say you can search on the internet now C++ good memory based questions, or like you can fragmentation, pagination. These were the good questions from the C++, and I have already prepared them, so I give the answers quickly, no problem. And then the second one, interviewer takes the charge and tell me that, okay, now tell me that you are working in any company. Yes, I am working in company. I have shared the experience that I am working in Airtel Payments Bank as a tech ops engineer. So they ask me what are you currently pay. So my currently pay is greater than the TCS digital role, so I tell him that this is my amount, and they told, okay, good. So what are your work culture there? So I have tell that my work culture is very good there, no problem, everyone is very supportive, team, manager. Airtel Payments Bank is famous for this. And also then they asked me that what is your work there. Then I told that I do this type of work. Okay, now more or less they are focusing on, I talk to every person who gave the interview before, they are focusing on that you can take the digital or ninja role, you can take or digital or ninja role or not. I think maybe there is more requirements of the digital and ninja role for the candidates there, so they are asking about this continuously, that if you are willing to do. So I am saying that no sir, for the ninja role I will not take, because I am already in a good place, but if it is digital role, then I can. And then they ask me that are you able to relocate any location, night shift or any shift changes? No problem, because I am currently in Airtel Payments Bank, and I am work all the shift. There are 4 shifts in Airtel, and I am night shift, day shift, morning shift, evening shift. I have worked only, so I have no problem with that. I am told them that I have no problem with that. Okay. Then they asked me that would you, if you are selected for the digital role, could you please tell us that you are that you will be doing the support role or not? Then I tell them, okay, no problem. They ask me that you are doing work from home in a comfort environment, getting salary more than digital role, so why will you come in the digital role if you will say? Then I tell that in work from home, in my early career, it is a boring type of thing. You can say I have no exposure to the environment or the company. I want to grow, I want to get out of my comfort zone. So these are my points, and I want to connect more with the people, but in work from home that is not possible. So that's what my answer, and they were okay, no problem. Then they asked me what are my certifications, and I tell them that these are my certifications, and some questions from my project also, simple questions were there. So around 18 to 20 minutes of my interview was running, and in the end I got a good interview experience, or you can say feedback from the interviewer. So that's all for my interview, and I asked them that will there be my HR? So no HR, we are done with the day. So they asked me to leave, and then that's my prime interview experience. If I want to share my insight, that what I was feeling is that they are more focusing on digital and ninja role. They are not interested in giving prime role or something, but they are more or less interested in giving you a ninja or digital role. They ask to every person that would you be free to join digital role if offered, or ninja role if offered. And along with that, my interview panel give me questions on C++, but there are some another interview panel which are focusing on database, more on database. So they are asking what is SQL, what are the commands, DCL, DML, DDL, and along with that what are the triggers, view indexes, and you can say many questions of many famous questions of the, like you can say they were willing to write the query of any question given them. So be prepared if you are with the interview in upcoming days. So my clear call is just focus on the tech stack. If you have tech stack in C and C++, then go and prepare thoroughly about the questions, v table, v pointers. These all can be easily found on the internet. And what are the memory management in C++? These were the questions, C and C++. What is why is namespace used? This is the question they asked me. And along with that, you have to be very precise on the database also. You know about SQL commands, queries, how SQL runs, joins. If there is any question, there is one person who has shared that they ask a question on simple join, although it was simple, but they ask a question on joins also. So be prepared with in this direction. Also, one of my tips is if you have an NQT exam, then be free, means just use your mind, no panic, no tension. Also, I have received so many friends were there that they tell me that one question they are not able to do because of the compiler or something problem. So be prepared. You can say you will be prepared in VS Code also, because in that TCS NQT exam we were provided a compiler where we have to write the whole code. Okay, so first you have to choose the language, that C, C++, many Python, Java. Then you have to write the code from the base, like including the header files, hashtag include. So you should know how to take inputs, how to print the output. And first of all, before attempting any question on coding, just read the instruction thoroughly. And there are some base cases whose answer is also written in the you can say their description. So be prepared along with that. So that's all from my side.